Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You Getting Fucked. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Many of you have reasons to dislike smart thermostats and smart items in general. Sometimes you'll have devices that were free that then start costing $117 a year when the CEO of the company decides that they want to make more money, like Future Home smart thermostats. Other devices may be like the Nest Learning thermostat that never had an expiration date on it, yet it's for some reason at some point just stopped working. We at Fulu Foundation released a bounty for this so that if somebody could figure out a way to make this work again, with the system the way it did before, you get $14,000, and somebody actually did come out with a solution to that, which is pretty cool. And today I wanted to read you an email about something that's becoming more and more common, where power and utility grids are trying to push people into using smart thermostats because it allows them to remotely turn them to a higher or lower temperature, depending on whether it's winter or summer, when there is a lot of power being used. And if this, I understand why they're doing this, because they think if there's a lot of stress on the grid, what if instead of the power going out, we could just raise everybody's thermostat 3 or 4 degrees and avoid a power outage. I see where you want to do something good with it. However, with just how you've seen the encroachment of not owning what you bought and paid for over the past several years, do you want somebody reaching into your home and being able to adjust your thermostat? This is something that some people have been bothered by. Now, I wanted to read an email from a viewer that got an email from his power company that he misunderstood, but then I also want to show you why that email that he misunderstood, that he was being a little paranoid about, was not really so paranoid after all when you actually dig into what it is that companies are trying to push. So let's go into it. I'm going to keep his name out of it. Hi, Louis. Sorry if this is a topic that you've covered. I couldn't find anything where you addressed this specifically. I forwarded a message that I received about the SRP, the electricity company in the Phoenix, Arizona area, automatically adjusting people's thermostats as part of the program. It states on the website this is an opt-in program, but we definitely did not opt in, and it feels like all you need to do to opt in is use a smart thermostat. They're calling it the Bring Your Own Thermostat program, like if you had an option for another electricity provider, and they're just letting you use the other provider's tech. Anyone who owns a house, I imagine, owns their own thermostat, whether it's cloud connected or a manual switch and lever. So that seems pretty disingenuous and just a way to gaslight. Honestly, this won't likely affect us much personally because of the fact that we turn our thermostat up during the day, and they say that you can manually override any changes they make. I think it will probably be beneficial to the overworked grid in the Phoenix area, but it just sits terribly with me. It feels like another step down the slope. Feels like something coming into your house and messing with your stuff, even though I know there are legally a million reasons that it's not the same. Sorry if you've covered this, and also sorry for not using AI to write this. I appreciate it. Thank you for not using AI to write this. And the email says, person's name, your participation truly makes a difference. As the temperature increases next week, we anticipate the SRP Bring Your Own Thermostat program activating to help reduce energy use. As a Bring Your Own Thermostat customer, your smart thermostat will automatically raise the temperature a few degrees during the first conservation event of the season. Thank you for being part of the BYOT program. We appreciate you helping support a reliable grid. Now, that email sounds to me like you have automatically enrolled me in something where you can control my thermostat within my house without actually reaching into my house without my consent, which really sucks. And he says, and I quote, in the next email, I've looked into it more, and it actually does still require an opt-in at the moment. The thank you for being a part of our program at the end of the email was perspective. It didn't actually mean that we had signed up. The way that email read to me, it really did sound like they had just opted him into it. Now, even if he was wrong in how he read that email, which, again, I don't think he did. I think the people that wrote that email wrote it in a very shitty way. But even if he was wrong about the belief that he was opted into the program already, he's not wrong about what it is that the future that they're trying to move you towards. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to read you some testimony that I was able to find that I included in this article on consumerrights.wiki, Utility Remote Control of Smart Thermostats, where you can see the future that companies are actually lobbying for. This is summary of Google LLC recommendations to a commission, I believe, in California. And I wanted to read the portion that was most important. Customers receiving a smart thermostat incentive should be defaulted into an automatic DR program, either third-party program or an IOU program such as Alphabet Soup's AC Saver or Alphabet Soup's Smart Energy program, or pilots such as Alphabet Soup's proposed Power Saver Rewards program, unless they specifically request another program or choose to opt out and not receive the demand response enrollment incentives. So what they're saying there is they want this to be opt-out rather than opt-in. So even though you read this and you felt uncomfortable with it without having full knowledge of how the program worked, your instinct is correct. Even though this program that you're looking at is opt-in, they don't want it to be opt-in. They want this program to be opt-out. Many companies are lobbying and pushing for these programs to be opt-out rather than opt-in, and Google is one of them. Google thinks that if you're getting a smart thermostat for your home, that means that the default option should be that the power company has the ability to reach into your house and change the temperature of your thermostat. And there's a lot of reasons that this should not sit well with people. I like conserving energy. I don't want to keep the air conditioning on when I'm not home. I don't want to have the AC set to 68 degrees all day long, just so that I could be more comfortable at the expense of everybody else around me. But at the same time, I also like having some basic sense of sovereignty over what is going on in my home. And I think the point to get into, I forget, what was it, Nixon? Who said this shit? It's like, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Just because this program itself was not opt-in, that little thing in your gut, just realizing this is just yet another encroachment on the sovereignty over what occurs in my own home if I use technology, that gut feeling was 100% correct. And I will link you to this below with this archive.org link that I have so that you could read Google's testimony for yourself and their recommendations. By the way, I do believe these were made as far back as 2001. Yeah, that was from the California Public Utilities Commission from September 1st, 2021. So that was almost 5 years ago that testimony was made. Imagine how much further along they are in making these arguments now. How comfortable do you feel having a smart home? How comfortable do you feel having it pushed on you? How comfortable do you feel knowing that the manufacturers of these products want these things to be opt-out rather than opt-in? How do you feel about these companies that just don't think that you should have to actually consent or agree to something before they have the right to go into your house and mess with your shit? You're right, man. They don't even want to have to ask. And even though they're not defaulting to opting you in right now, give it time. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. But before we end it, I'm going to pet the berry. Hey, you're a good kid. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. You're the only one that's allowed to fuck with my thermostat, aren't you, Barry? You're such a beautiful kitty. All right. See you on the next video.